Hey everyone, this is Jonathan Marx from GoToHealth. I hope you're having a great day. Are you getting older and feeling like you're suffering from less energy, a little bit less mental clarity, and you're wondering what you can do about it? Well, it turns out you can do a lot. Aging really starts with slowing of oxygen delivery and cellular energy production. If blood can't efficiently reach your cells and aging cells struggle to turn oxygen into usable energy, then fatigue, brain fog, poor recovery, and metabolic decline can begin to compound over time. Blood flow is really the body's river of life, and the connection between circulation, oxygen delivery, and mitochondrial energy production are really key to understand. And the good news is there are compounds we can take which increase blood flow and also increase cellular energy production. Our guest today is Dr. Luke Bucci, PhD. He's the scientific officer of Juvenon. He's a clinical nutritionist and a recognized leader in nutritional science with 37 years in the dietary supplement industry. He works for Juvenon, and you can visit Juvenon at Juvenon, Juvenon.com. So welcome to the show, Dr. Luke Bucci. How are you today?
Hi, Jonathan. I'm doing fine today. Thanks.
Good. So, many people start to feel fatigue as they age. Is this just that we're getting old and that's what we should expect? What's going on in their bodies and what can we do about it?
Well, yes, it is going on and it is, quote, normal, but it's not ideal. And I'm thinking that we all need energy. We all think our energy is going downhill.
Hmm.
And that it kind of depends on, it's really more how you feel that's going downhill.
Hmm.
And I do think that feel is accurate because we do know something very important is going downhill and going downhill a lot as we age, and that's blood flow related to your nitric oxide production, which is how your body changes circulation. So
Hmm.
your circulation is not as good as it used to be.
Okay, so you just mentioned two things. You mentioned circulation and you mentioned nitric oxide. Let's talk about the circulation first. What's causing the
Mhm.
reduction in circulation?
Well, I think it's just the usual slings and arrows of lifetime. You can call it lack of exercise will definitely cause that.
Hmm.
And of course, eating wrong will also lead to a worse circulation because you're literally plugging up your arteries.
Hmm.
And then the other big issue, so this is kind of like a tripod here,
Hmm.
is that we are under free radical attack with every breath we take. I mean, oxygen is a double free radical, and that's why we use it for energy. We can use that spark to run our cells to make ATP, which is energy. But the problem with that is that there's always some leftover sparks, and that starts to tear you up slowly, atom by atom. And we have ways to fix that. But that kind of all just brings down. But there are ways to kind of what I like to call is push that curve in the good direction.
Good. Good. You mentioned before nitric oxide. What's the role of nitric oxide? And I guess you're saying it's decreasing as we age. How do we increase it? But let's talk first about the role of nitric oxide in our bodies.
Yeah, real simple. Nitric oxide is, I think it's a wonderful invention by nature to keep us healthy. And our bodies use nitric oxide. It makes it when it wants to open your blood vessels, your little arteries, to feed your cells, your tissues.
Hmm.
So if you want more blood flow, like if you're exercising, nitric oxide goes up. Your brain and nervous system sparks your blood vessels to make nitric oxide, and they have a certain enzyme, and that uses the amino acid arginine that's always around in our blood.
Hmm.
And that's how it works. It combines that with oxygen in a very complicated enzyme system, and poof, it pops out. And that nitric oxide actually helps your blood vessels to expand. And that means boom, more blood flow. A bigger garden hose, more water coming out.
Got it. So I have two questions. If we exercise enough, do we need to take any kind of nitric oxide supplements? Are we getting enough nitric oxide if we exercise? That's the first question. And then the second question is, if we can't exercise for some reason, we're injured or have some kind of disability, do nitric oxide supplements help?
Yes and yes. In other words, your body's doing it all the time, but with age, that capacity just goes downhill.
Hmm.
Lots of reasons, but it's just the way it is. That's been well researched that your blood vessels may look fine, but whether they look fine or not, it's making nitric oxide that keeps you active and healthy. It also helps your immune system, but that's a whole different story too. It's all connected. So, in other words, yes, but even healthy people that do everything right, exercise, eat well, watch their body weight, etc., and stay happy, that's a big one.
Hmm.
By the time you're 65, you're getting to about half of what you were at 20
Hmm.
for your nitric oxide production. So,
Hmm.
yeah, you can still get the effects of better blood flow, but it's not as much as it used to. So that blood flow changing, I think, is really something that's been overlooked for the long run.
Got it. So I want to talk about, the benefits of supplementation in a minute, but I want to go back to what you mentioned a few minutes ago, which was free radicals. I've heard about it, I've read about it. I've heard that they're bad, you want to reduce them. Can you give us what's the book on free radicals?
Okay, well, they're always there. It runs our lives. So we can't, if you get rid of them, you're dead. But
Okay.
of course, we don't go there. So you kind of can't live with them, can't live without them. But they're going to happen if you're alive and making energy. Making energy is kind of spewing sparks from the fireplace, so to speak. And that's an old analogy, but it still fits. So those sparks will start little fires and you're always putting them out. So that's called inflammation. And
Hmm.
inflammation is your body trying to make things right. So it has to tear down you to make sure there's no bad guy bugs, germs, microbes, etc.
Hmm.
And it uses free radicals to do that again, like bleach and peroxide, hydrogen peroxide. We know those are very efficient killers of microbes, but it also kills cells too. So your body has antioxidants to help fight that off. But it's a delicate balance, and sooner or later, the balance tips in the favor of aging.
Hmm.
And so we can't stop it yet, but we can slow it down and we can get the most out of what we have.
Got it. Okay, good. So let's talk about supplementation. So your company, Juvenon, has some supplements that we can take that help with these processes. And I understand there are two of them. One is called Blood Flow 7, and the other one's called Cellular Health. Can you
Mhm.
describe what each of those products does for us when we take them?
Oh, thanks. Yes, I was very excited to join Juvenon and have those products at my fingertips because I obviously doing my job, being the science guy, I have to figure out how they work, which I pretty much already knew, and then I realized how good they work, and that's like, okay, there's lots of clinical studies in the ingredients in Blood Flow 7, so it's a good name. There's seven different ingredients, but
Uh-huh.
three are labeled. So, in other words, it has different ways to make your blood vessels make more nitric oxide. That's the
Hmm.
biggest point. A
Got
lot
it.
of places are just, we're going to help your circulation without even knowing how or why. No, we know
Hmm.
exactly why. It's all about the nitric oxide, or
Hmm.
NO as the chemical form is.
Hmm.
So that's what these ingredients do. One is a real hopped up form of arginine, which is the immediate precursor that the cells use to make nitric oxide. And then it has polyphenols, which really sends people for a loop because poly what?
Uh-huh.
I don't know anybody named polyphenol. Who are you talking about? So, but those are the things in our plant foods that are colored, and they're antioxidants. They're also anti-inflammatories, but they're kind of a jack of all trade, good for you kind of compound. And there's a bunch of them. All of them are good. Some are
Hmm.
better than others, and those are the ones that have been clinically tested in humans in the blood flow 7 to increase your nitric oxide. and also increase your blood flow too. I mean, resveratrol is one. We've all heard about that maybe helping cardiovascular health, like
Yes.
red wine stuff. But if you have pure resveratrol and the exact form that's in Blood Flow 7, it has shown to open your arteries up around 62%, up to that. That sounds like a big increase, but really it's kind of a small number. But even in a garden hose, if you have a little bit wider hose, that water comes out faster. Yeah, that's just one of the three ingredients in there.
Got it. So, a few years ago, I took a nitric oxide supplement, and the biggest effect that I felt was being totally flushed and hot and uncomfortable. And
Mhm.
I'm just curious, was that a poor, supplement that I was taking? Would I have this kind of effect, or should I expect that when I take Blood Flow 7? Tell us about that.
Yes, you don't expect that with Blood Flow 7 because that kind of result is probably a nitrate rich formula, which is what beetroot is half about too, because you have two systems to make nitric oxide, and one is the nitrates that are in your healthy foods, actually in plant foods.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a food preservative too, which makes people really get freaked out. Okay, why are we taking it? So why, yeah, I say, yeah, why are you taking a big dose of a food preservative to make nitric oxide? It will anywhere,
Okay.
everywhere. So that's why you're flushing. But the blood flow 7 uses the enzyme that your body uses and your blood vessels use. So that's the difference between blood flow 7 and just nitrates, nitrites like beetroots, arugula, green leafy vegetables, is
Got it.
that hard to get that much out of green leafy vegetables because your stomach will be too full. But that's the difference. So there's two nitric oxide systems. One is to keep you from getting attacked by germs from your foods, and the other is all over your arteries, all over your body, and it's very pinpoint accuracy of where and when and how much your body wants to move your blood flow. So that's why when you stand up, you don't fall over because the blood flow starts to go back to your head instead of hanging around your gut. And when you exercise, you don't just flop over because you don't have any blood flow extra. No, it goes to your muscles. Goes
Mhm.
to your heart, goes to your brain when you're really thinking. In fact, the Blood Flow 7 has been shown to improve video gamers, um,
Oh,
whatever
interesting.
they do. In other words, it helps their reaction times
Right.
and their ability to play and focus and attention, which is like, wow, that's hard to do. And
Okay, video gamers, listen up. You need good nitric oxide flow. So thanks for that explanation, Luke. So tell us about the second product that I was interested in, which is called Cellular Health. What does that do for us?
well, it's a very broad name, so it doesn't tell you anything. But that was the first product Juvenon had, and that sprung from the brain of a Nobel Prize laureate. And he's the scientist that was responsible for the Ames test, which finds out if a compound is mutagenic or carcinogenic. So he's a granddaddy,
Hmm.
got the Nobel Prize for that. And he started getting older and he said, well, I don't want to get older. Let's see. I know that we have bad things in our diet. Now we know how to find them, and that's all good. But I need to find out how to make our bodies work better. So he got put his thinking cap on and came up with the cellular health formula. So I can't say I designed that. I wish I could, but so in other words, it's genius. It's simply acetyl L-carnitine and alpha lipoic acid. Now that means mumbo jumbo, but what it is that the acetyl L-carnitine is what happens to your fats, so you can turn them into energy,
Hmm.
which means energy, ATP, and carbon dioxide and water. So
Hmm.
that's the ultimate fate of burning fat. That gets fats into the mitochondria, so they become energy. And the alpha lipoic acid is helping to stop all those sparks from causing free radicals. It's a super good antioxidant.
Hmm.
And unlike other antioxidants, what it does is it works with an enzyme. called glutathione peroxidase. Don't worry about that. In other words, that's all over your body. It is in all your cells, in other words, and it's rechargeable. So if usually when an antioxidant takes out a free radical, it's like a duel to the death and both die, and you have to get rid of the junk. No, with alpha lipoic acid and that enzyme, the alpha lipoic acid takes the hit, kills the free radical, and then the glutathione peroxide enzyme, oh, we'll fix you back up, wind you back up, go out there and kill some more. And that is our number one most important antioxidant system in the body. And
Hmm.
that's inside our cells. And the only way you can really boost it is to have more alpha lipoic acid. And so that formula to get more energy out of the mitochondria from fat, which is good because we always eat too much fat,
Hmm.
and to recharge your antioxidants is what's keeping the mitochondria going. And that means you are going.
Got it. So let me see if I can repeat that. So the cellular health product helps me metabolize fat, and that gives me more energy. But it also, as you mentioned, in that process, there are a lot of free radicals that are created that are not good for me to keep in the body, at least too much of. And
Yeah.
so these antioxidants that are also in this product help reduce the free radicals. Did I get any of that right?
Yes, yes, yes. So in other words, it cut to the chase to give the most antioxidant bang for your buck
Got it.
because there's all kinds of antioxidants, but this is rechargeable. And that means that the more you have, the more free radicals you can get rid of, and that means less inflammation, and that does mean eventually a longer life. So a lot of these studies that just look at overall antioxidants or a single antioxidant like vitamin E or beta carotene, they don't really see longevity benefits, and but they're not putting it all together. And Bruce Ames did live well into his late 90s, so I think he had it right.
That's sounding good to me. That's great.
Hmm.
So, what we've talked about today is as we age, we're talking about maintaining energy and maintaining health. And what I'm hearing from this is that our blood flow tends to naturally reduce as we age. And so, what we want to do is take some products that help increase our blood flow so that we can keep our cells healthy and nourished. But also, we want to take another product which helps metabolize fat and gives us energy, but also then manages the byproducts of energy production and keeps us from having too many free radicals in the body. I think I got that.
Yes, that's it. And here's I think a take-home message. I mean, we're all hung up on I got to get my multivitamin mineral. I got to start with that. That's the basis of everything.
Yes.
And I thought so too. I was indoctrinated, but after looking more deeper into the body, what we actually do, what's trying to get rid of us, what our problems are, it's energy production, and that relates then that directly is related to your blood flow. You need blood flow that's healthy blood to get everywhere all you can. And so that's my new multi is blood flow, is
Uh-huh.
circulation
Great.
and mitochondrial things. So that's something that will keep the mitochondria going. There are human studies showing that these things can help. No one's doing any long-term studies because it usually the researchers die before all the subjects die. So you don't who's gonna write the paper? In other words, it's too
Right.
long, difficult, and costly to do a confirming study that everybody goes, yeah, yeah, okay, right. So it's
Hmm.
never is to say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Wrong. I do know what I'm talking about. I've been doing this for many years, and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So my
Good.
new trick is, okay, I don't take a multivitamin mineral anymore. I actually feel a little better than I used to, and I make sure that I have my blood flow up. And I think that's the basis. Then you can do whatever else you want afterwards.
Good. Let me tell people where they can go to learn more and actually buy these products. And the two products we're talking about are Blood Flow 7 and Cellular Health. And you can go to juvenon.com, and that's Juvenon. Those are N's as in Nancy. Juvenon, juvenon.com. And when you go there, we've got a special offer for you that I've worked with Juvenon. When you put in GoToHealth as a code, you can get a 20% discount on those products. And I'm very happy to say that we've arranged that discount for you. So again, you can go to juvenon.com, and we're talking about Blood Flow 7 and cellular health. Luke, is there any kind of question I didn't ask that I should have, or is there a big message you'd like to leave with people today?
I think the biggest thing to consider here is just you need to keep active. You don't have to run marathons, just keep active. Consistency is good. And you know how to eat, right? We all do. We just don't. So then the way you can fix not eating right all the time is with supplements. So I think you get your most supplement bang for the buck with something that affects every cell in your body. And that's one that helps keep your blood flow maximized. Because to make it my kind of last ditch effort here to convince people that this is the right way to go is looking at the curves of survival and nitric oxide production. And it goes downhill with age, but healthy people, it goes down a lot slower than if you're not healthy. And we all know if we're healthy or not. And the people that are not healthy, they have a shorter lifetime than the people that are healthy. And that nitric oxide production is all about blood flow. So that's the take-home message. I mean, no vitamin or mineral has that kind of survival curve difference. That means it's important.
I'm so glad you've been with us today, Luke. This has been really important information to share. We've been talking with Dr. Luke Bucci, PhD. He's the Chief Scientific Officer of Juvenon. He's a clinical nutritionist and a recognized leader in nutritional science with 37 years of experience in the dietary supplement industry. Luke, it's been great to have you on today. Thanks so much for being with us.
Jonathan, thank you for asking good questions, and I hope everybody can get something out of this to just live longer and be healthier and be happier.
Good. Thanks so much. This has been Jonathan Marx with GoToHealth. Remember, you can subscribe to us at GoToHealthMedia.com or on YouTube or Apple or Spotify. And if you like what we're doing, because we're all focused on evidence-based medicine, you can please give us a thumbs up or a 5-star review. That helps get the word out to more people. Thanks so much in advance. This has been Jonathan Marx with GoToHealth. And as we say at the end of every show, you know it, go to health. God bless. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye. Thanks, Luke. Thank you for tuning in today to Go to Health. You are one of almost 10,000 people per day who enjoy the evidence-based health information offered by our guest health experts. You can watch us on our website and YouTube and listen to us on 8 podcast networks. Be sure to join Jonathan Marx in our upcoming shows each week. If you like our show, please share this episode with your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to the show, join our email list, send us feedback, browse through the online store, and view our library of over 150 shows at GoToHealthMedia.com. See you next time, and remember to elevate your life with Go to Health.